Okay, hello everyone. This is Daniel with CoinHelpU and Robert Lawson of CoinOpp. Today we're going to talk about should you send your coins off for grading, and I know I get a lot of questions about that.
This country was built by.
And I better turn off, put the mute on the other one. I get a lot of questions on if I should send a coin off for grading, and I try to answer it the best way. First off, what kind of coin do you have? It's very important to know what grade the coin is, and actually if it's a key date or not. And you have to do this by doing research. You want to look up your coin and also know how much fees are from Pcgs, NGC, and how much memberships are as well. And is there anything you want to add to that, Robert?
You're doing a wonderful job.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do some little screens here. So one thing is to say you have, you want to know about grading in general. So let's see. A technical difficulty here.
Uh-oh.
Wonder what's going on there. Okay, we're having an issue with this for some reason.
My epilepsy. No.
Yeah, it's really doing it really bad. Let me dump that out and see what's going on. See if it'll. There we go. Now it's working. So one of the things that you want to do before you ever think about sending a coin off for grading, you need to know about PCGS or NGC and the submission types and what you're planning on doing. There are regrades, there's crossovers, and you want to view the pricing. So you need to know about memberships to begin with. A lot of times, the gold membership to me is the best value because you get the 4 vouchers. It's a $149. It's the most popular. You got the platinum and you have the silver. And you need to know that $69, $149, because you're going to really add that into your cost of grading. Also, you need to know the fees. And when you're looking at pricing, you want to look for, let's say, a regular submission. You're talking $35 is the price. If you're using modern coins, let's say 1965 to date, you're looking at $16. Now, that doesn't include your membership fees. That doesn't include your shipping, because you're going to have to count that in. You're shipping to PCGS and back from PCGS because you have to pay for both. So
I just wanted to point out, when you do like modern or regular, notice they have maximum coin values. That's the highest your coin value can be. And PCGS, if you have a coin that's modern that's worth over 300 because it's a variety or an error, they will not do it at that tier. They will bump you up a tier.
Yes. So anyways, I want to thank everybody in the chat too. I want to say hi to Mark and Flordalina, VA Beach Collectibles, and David Smock and Coin Master. I appreciate everybody in the chat. So moving on to this, another thing that people come at me with question-wise, and I'm sure Robert gets the same questions, is mint errors. Should I send my mint error out to be graded? Well, if you want to do that, it's going to cost you $65. And I'm here to tell you, most mint errors that you're finding are not going to be worth the $65, especially if you found them in your change. Most coins are not going to be worth sending off if you find them in your change. Now, there are some exceptions. Obviously, there are some coins types that you might consider sending off if you found it or you bought it. But, if you want to know if your coin that you found is worth sending off, I recommend coming over to PCGS Price Guide. You can do this with NGC as well, and you can hit the little square there, a little plus sign, and it'll drop down. And let's say you think you have a double die FS 101, and you come over here and you see that it's worth $40.63. Now that's high retail for a graded coin. I just showed you where it's going to cost you $65 basic without membership, without your actual shipping cost. It's going to cost you $40, or it's going to be worth maybe $40. Up here, If it grades 66, 850. 66 is probably going to be a pipe dream for most Lincoln cents. More likely, it's going to need to be about 65 for I would send it off, because 90, you're still kind of pushing that limit. Because once you send it, the $65, once you do the shipping to and from, and then your membership fee. Now, if you've got several coins, then you might consider it. But it's not likely you're going to have multiple double dies to send off. You might have a couple. If you're like me or Robert, you might find a couple here or there at coin shows and maybe come up with a decent submission in a couple of months. But I don't know, Robert, how often do you maybe send off?
You know what? I send regular and I send varieties. My varieties probably go out. You know, that's something we haven't touched on too. It depends on the company. So I just submitted 2 coins to PCGS. I never submitted them. I got them put into a queue to where I need 5 of them in order to get, you know, to where it makes it worth it because of the shipping and handling. A lot of people don't know. You got to figure your shipping and handling to and back. I don't know, Daniel, do you have on your tab the fees they charge to return the coins?
You mean as far as
once you send a submission, you have to take in on the form where it's got return postage?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't have, let's see, I don't have the form. I don't have the form up here, but I'm going to go ahead and go to the split screen here and we can take a look at.
Okay. Can you give me an annex?
Probably. I mean, we can do this video and we can do several of them and go over the details over and over and over. But honestly, calling PCGS or NGC up can often help solve a lot of your issues, a lot of your questions that you have, because they do this and they handle coins. And when you come down here, there is handling for submission. There's other fees to look at here. As Robert was talking about, there's different holders. First strike designation, variety attribution. You've got to make sure if you do have a variety, you want to check the box and you've got to pay for it, so that because PCGS, NGC, or Annex, sometimes Annex might, but most of the time PCGS will not. They'll not label a variety for you. They will not label a double die. They'll not discover it for you. They don't do that kind of thing. They'll just send it back regular. Also, if they don't recognize it, it's not in their list or on their website, they won't attribute it as a variety. You got something there, Robert?
I'm trying to show the backside of the Anex. I don't know how well it's not showing up that well.
It's blurry a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
Can you
see?
Maybe focus it there.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's why I'm upgrading my system. I just got to get them back from Amazon.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I can get.
Yeah, just get off of that. I'm not gonna. I couldn't do it. I was just trying.
Okay, then as far as PCGS is concerned, I mean, if you want to send through them, you can print off the form like Robert was showing there. There's a form that you print off. They'll send you the form. Actually, they'll send you several forms with your vouchers when you do join PCGS. But what I do, and I did a video on this, I walk you through doing an online submission. And to me, that is the best way to do it. It's easiest for me. And then you can print it off and, send it out, register mail with the appropriate insurance. And I know some people also have a question about, how do I know what my coin's worth? Well, you're going to have to guess, because nobody really knows how much your coin's worth unless you have a 1909S, a VDB, and let's say it's a G4 and you want to put $500 on it. Something like that you can do. But some varieties are not really going to have much of a value unless you know what the grade's going to be. And if you've got a Lincoln cent that's uncirculated, it may be 63. It could be 64 or 65. Maybe you think it's a 68. Well, you're just going to have to guess basically what value you think it is and put it under the appropriate tier. Because as Robert pointed out, some tiers, you don't want to go, you can't go over 3,000 or you can't go over 300. I mean, there's different ones that it shows you. Like he was saying on this, let's see. The rarities, none maximum coin value. But if you come down here to the economy, you can't send a coin to them that's valued over $300. So you got to use regular. Yeah.
I'd like to point out Silverback Stacker just said, I recently sent in 3 mint error coins and spent $145 in total fees. All 3 came back with no mint error designation. Know your coins. If you don't know them, and I wanted to touch on this, contact Daniel has a Facebook group. I have a Facebook group. Go there with a good, clean picture, and we can help you to let you know what you have. If we tell you it's not a variety, that's a clue. You might want to take that as a hint to maybe not send that in. Another thing, don't send photographs to John Wexler saying, hey, is this a new discovery? Because John Wexler, even if it is a new discovery, you've got to send it in to him because he's got to take photographs to authenticate it, to put it into a letter, send you the letter back with your coin. Don't worry, John don't want your coin, but he will take great photographs, put it into his list, and then he'll return your coin. You take his letter, and if you do, you can send it to ANAX, which is what I was trying to show. On the back, they show the cost for the return. However, that's the proper procedure. You send him a photograph, he can say yes or no, it's a double die, but me and Daniel can do that, and John just doesn't have the time. He's very, very busy. So it would be better if you contact Daniel, myself, CoinOpp, or CoinHelpU. We both have Facebook groups that we would be happy to help.
Okay, what are the benefits of the vouchers? I mean, you're getting 4 vouchers for $149, and if you do the math on the fees, you're pretty much trading dollars for dollars on it. But you actually get a shirt. I mean, you get a calendar. You get the rare coin world market report or whatever it is. I get it sometimes. If you're into that, to me, we sat down and we figured it all up. Actually, me and my former partner here at Own the Coin Shop together, and the $149 for 4 vouchers was just the best value out of all of them. So that's why I recommend that. And I know people want to know, is there a good way to tell a coin has been cleaned? It really takes a lot of experience to know that, DB Stupid. I mean, it does. And like I said, I recommended my videos for that because I do go into some detail on it. But it does take some experience. And, you know, you're looking for a coin that doesn't have any contrast in luster as far as in the fields versus the bust of the coin. And you're looking for scratches and different things that could indicate the coin's been cleaned and played with. The best thing is really to find an original coin that you know is original and compare it to your coins. You know, I mean, comparing apples to apples is really the best thing. Let's see. Another thing.
I was just going to say, Anthony, I don't understand what you're asking there. Go ahead, Daniel. I'm sorry. I was just reading.
Go ahead, Robert.
Anthony said, Robert, your channel, I guess it is, at one time did an attribution. Oh, I have a coin from that. Do you still do that? Okay, Anthony, no. Dustin was doing that. I personally just do not have the time. I can attribute. I can grade. It's on a personal level, and I just don't have the time to do that. I know what you're talking about, Anthony. We was going to start that, but to be honest, that's more work than I've got time for. He's talking about Dustin. It started an attribution service, and we had little slips of paper and everything. And now that I'm a single owner, I just don't have time for that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't have time for that either. And that's why I direct everybody. And like Robert mentioned Wexler, okay? Konica Variety Vista. I'm going to tell you right now, if I think that I have something special, I'm sending it to someone like Wexler or Wiles or Ken Potter or somebody like that because I want their name on it. I literally, I might have this channel and I may be doing good for everyone. And I know a lot of people appreciate what I do, but I don't have the name to put you in the books. I don't have the name to put it in PCGS's acceptance that they'll say, hey, yeah, this is a double die as a new discovery. You know, so you need to go through Konica. Konica is a very good place to find a person to connect with that you can do that with and send that way their name's on it. And then you can submit it to NGC or Annex or submit it to PCGS, whatever one of your choice, whatever you think it might be worth being a discovery coin. And at that point, then you could even call the companies up and ask them, talk to them because they have customer service. And whether, you know, they can answer more questions than I can even because they know their business. And I highly recommend doing that. Yeah.
And I can say right now, I have been approached by third-party rating companies to do attribution service for them, and I just don't have time. Other people that are doing attribution services, you know, they can give you, like me, I can give you a personal level. I do it free of charge. All you got to do is send a photograph. Or like I say, right now, I'm even so busy, I can't do that. So I direct people to our Facebook group. But to get the attribution on the label, you're going to have to go with Wexler, Wiles, Ken Potter, somebody of that nature. Just, you know, even though I'm well known in the community, they won't even take my word for it. It's got to be sent through their attributors that they will back up. So
Jeff actually has a question that I definitely want to address. He said that you are a new collector and you have double die, or you want to know how do you have a 1969S double die, and you're checked all the die scratches and they match. You have to match the doubled die. It has to be struck by double die. It can have all the marks, die marks that it match it, but if it's not doubled and that's a very obvious double die, then it will not be the double die. Die marks aside, it can't just have the die marks and then you think it's a double die. That's one of the newbie mistakes that I see a lot.
Yes, and I've seen people attribute a 1972 double die number 4 because they see cuds on the rims. I can show you a coin that's got cuds on the rim that's a 72, and it is not the double die. So you have to have everything's got to fit.
Anthony said it really good. Anthony Goodley. That 69S is like, wow, I'm drunk doubling. You're right. You're going to see 2. Forget the die marks because you're not going to mistake that coin once you know what it looks like. That's a good one. Oh, man. Hey, I appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you. Silverback, Stacker, Tony, John, Butchie, Harding, Dale, VA Beach Collectibles. I appreciate all you guys. Well, anyways,
Lincoln Central asked a great question.
Oh, okay.
He said, who would you recommend for Ike dollars? You know, I know who to go to for almost everything. I believe that John Wexler also does that, Lincoln, but let me double check. Yes, John Wexler would be for me. Now, I'm certain that James Wiles does it as well, but I do know John Wexler will do double dies, and he does have he used to be at Konica, and then he left, but he has all of his files. So I would recommend John Wexler. He's very reasonable. He is only, I believe, $4 a coin. Whatever it costs you to ship it to him, and I suggest you ship it first class with tracking. Whatever that costs you, send him that for the return because that's all he charges. And then I believe it's $4 per coin. And to me, dollar for dollar, you are not going to get anybody better than that. And ANAX will take it again. I come back to, I know for a fact, ANAX will recognize a new discovery from, if you had the new discovery, the letter John sends you back, you can get it on the label.
Yes, and David's correct. There is a lot of mechanical strike doubling on 69Ss, on Lincoln Cents in general. There's a lot of ejection doubling. There's all that going on, the chatter where the dies were loose. And like you said, mint mark is doubled. And how many double dies with a double mint mark? Because the hand punch mint marks. So, you know, you can look for RPNs, but you're not looking for that. You're looking for just the doubling of everything but the mint mark. So that's very important as well. Now, let's see. So one of the things that I wanted to get back to a little bit, is back on topic, is the fact that most people are finding these coins in their pocket change, and they actually ask me if this damaged coin should be sent off for grading, or this really worn coin should be sent off for grading. There's just not really much in the way of circulated coins out there. I know Robert's done some, and I've done some videos, but they're that you can send off that are actually ungraded in the first place and been circulated. Now, one of them that I wanted to show here and there is some examples, and I'm going to show you one that you would send off if you found it in your change or in maybe a Jefferson Nickel album, and that would be the 42D over D. It's a horizontal D. As you can see in lower grades, I mean, it's 165 is the retail on it now. Granted, once it gets down to the extremely circulated, it's harder to identify. And not only that, because of the wear, but not only that, it's not worth as much. So probably in the $50 range if you have one, down in the very fine 20, 25. And you might not even get that out of it. I know Robert knows a little more about the values on that.
I would say that if you can see the D over horizontal D, it's going to be, and you can see it in a 20, I think about a 25. Now, I just wanted to show a low grade of one that you might want to if you're going for a POR. But this one may make it be too high. This might, or I mean, well, what is it, a poor one or fair one?
It's PO1 and then fair 2.
Okay, yeah, that one might make a fair 2. But I know you wanted to talk on that. I was going to let you talk. I'm sorry, but you asked me that question.
Oh, that's good with me.
But you had that graph. Can you pull up a PCGS price guide where they showed that the PO1s are actually higher graded than even let's say a good 4?
Yeah, that's actually even with some of the Morgan Dollar CCs.
Right.
Because that's a big thing right now, low ball sets. Matter of fact, I just had someone call me and ask me if I could help them get some PO1s for their low ball set. They got a registry set. So, yeah, that's kind of funny that you brought that up. Now, what one are you looking at here? I can't hardly see the date on that.
It's an 1856-0.
And
it's a quarter. Here, flip it over. Hopefully it'll show up. Yeah.
I'm going to show them how I'm doing this here. So we're coming over here to a Liberty seated quarter. What year?
1856-0.
Okay, 1856-0. So we go to Liberty quarters, and this is what you do when you come over to CoinFacts. And we're going down to 1856-0. And we're going to look at PO1. Let me see if I can.
Can you do it that way?
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it will. You can go over.
It's got a population of 1.
Well, that's a 2, though.
Oh, that's a 2. Sorry. It's not showing any PO.
Don't show none.
So what other grade can we get up? Can we find here? Let me see. Someone told me, and it was I'm wanting to
go to the Morgans. Morgan.
It's a 93cc. Someone asked me about, and asked me why the PO1 was worth more than a G4 or Fine 12 or something like that. I think that's what it was. I want to scroll down here. But this is one of the things that you do. If you want to send your coin off for grading, or you want to have that question, the best thing to do is to come over here and see what they're going for in certain grades. What grade do you have? Well, go to their photo grade. Go to my photo grade on my website as well.
Right.
I mean, we've got, and I do have a website, and my photo grade's not as great as PCGS's, but I picked actual graded coins off mine for mine. I actually constantly improve. So yeah, right here, perfect. Here is a poor one, $500. FR2 is $265, and in G3 it's $160. Now that's backwards. But look, population of 3. So there's more than 3 people that want this for their poor one registry set. So if you find an 1893, this is probably something you don't hear other channels here. 1893 cc and poor 1, you better grab it and try to get it graded, because you're going to have someone to buy that thing for more than the AG3 you're seeing right next to it. So that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people might not know that.
Well, me and some friends have laughed about it, and we've said, hey, I'm going to go out and buy me a good for 100 and take and crack it out, stick it in my pocket for a week or 2 or a month.
But like I said, that's pretty that is interesting to think about. And today, like I said, I got a phone call from someone, out of state, and they saw my videos, they watched my videos, and they were interested in gaining more PO1s, and they felt, I got to shop here, and I go through a lot of coins, and yeah, I get a lot of low-grade stuff. And this right here shows that it's a good thing because it's actually increasing the values of lower-grade coins. But I mean, I know it's going to be hard to pay more for a PO1 for some people than it would be a G3, because I'm telling you, a poor one Morgan dollar, I mean, you're not seeing much data at all on that, and no rims. I mean, it's so here. Kevin's, when trying to find the coin's worth, do you see the auctions that are on PCGS page? Because they have big differences in auction records. And yeah, I mean, there are discrepancies. Sometimes you can account for that, but
both ways.
You have to know
both ways on that discrepancy. I have seen it to where I've seen actual pricing on PCGS where a 69, they have it priced at 9,000. And the auction records show that they sell for more than that.
Yeah. That's another thing. You can't always go by the price guides. I get that. You can't always go by auction records. I mean, sometimes there are coins that exceed auction expectations, but most of the time they don't meet the auction expectations. And I've had that happen to me before. You're looking at averages here. You take several 69s or 70s of the same type, denomination, and it's the grade, or like I said, it's a 69, and you average it out what they've sold for, and that's really what you're trying to do. But what we're talking about, though, is raw coins. I see a lot of raw coins being posted and asking if I should have them graded, and you just have to come over to the PCGS site, and I'm going to show you NGC here as well. NGC also has an online submission that you can use. And right here is their fees. Their fees are a little different than PCGS. And that's why when people ask me, how much does it cost? Well, I really don't have them memorized. I don't worry so much about cost because I kind of got an idea that how much it's going to cost me to send off. I've done it so much. So I just pick coins that basically, if they're going to go to NGC or PCGS, I want them to be worth over $100. To me, that's a safe bet. If I have 10 coins I can send off worth over $100, I know it's probably I'm going to make some money on it if I don't have a whole lot in the coins to begin with. And then if I think the coins are under 100, but yet I think they need to be graded, like let's say very fine 20, 42 D over D, horizontal D, then I would send out the annex, because annex is a little bit cheaper. Their variety attribution is a little bit cheaper. But like I said, if you got questions, you can always come over here to NGC website. You can call them up on the phone. They have customer service, and you can scroll down through here and you can see all the different fees and the services that they offer. These, really, I know that a lot of people talk about gradeflation, and a lot of people talk about the good boy system and different things. But honestly, these are really good companies, and they are crucial to this hobby. They have their flaws and they have their inconsistencies. But they have honestly, we wouldn't have this rare coin market like we do if it wasn't for these companies. I mean, you can't take that away from them. That's just the facts. And honestly, you've got CAC if you really want your coin checked out again and add a little more value to it. I mean, if it gets the CAC approval, and that's another thing you can do. But just getting into the grading of a coin, knowing that to send it off or not, it has to have a certain value, and you have to know how to determine that value. Not everybody can do that. I mean, not every single person is going to know what grade your coin is. But a damaged coin, you definitely don't want to send it off unless it's a high, like a special key date or something like that. Or the damage is actually questionable. You're not sure.
I'm going to say Concrete, etc. says, what is the insurance price for a 1943P war nickel when I send it to PCGS, but wait for it, no silver, transitional metal error? How do I go about valuing that coin? Well, I would say that's where you need to go to Heritage. They would probably have an off metal transitional error, and it's going to depend. Is it
1943?
Yes, 1943 war nickel. The P, it's the P.
Yeah, you can come over here to PCGS. I mean, Heritage. Sorry about that, Heritage. And like I just did, 1943 silver. And here's an example. on a silver planchet, how much it sold for and what it graded. This one was struck on a silver dime planchet. Here's another one.
Okay, but he's talking about the Jefferson nickel on off metal, so it has to go to a Jefferson nickel.
Well, 43 is what?
It's not silver; it's an off metal. That's what he's asking. It's so just put 43 Jefferson.
Yeah, I don't think that they're. I don't think they're accepting those right now. I know someone's tried to get NGC. NGC verified that it didn't have the exact amount of silver. It had more silver than it should, but NGC wouldn't grade it as such. So I don't think you're going to find. Yeah, I had someone else ask me that.
Okay, I think what he was looking for is, yes, 43 Jefferson nickel off metal. Try that and see if they have that.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Steel planchet. I mean, you've got that, but I mean, I don't think he's talking about the steel planchet. I don't, because there is one that's actually been verified with a letter that there was some experimenting going on. And just, let's see, one of the guys that comments on my channel, he was sending me some information. He showed me the letter from NGC, but NGC refused to put it in a holder. And that's why I say you don't send it to NGC. I told him to send it to the Mint. Get the Mint to put the letter out, then send it to Wexler or Wiles or someone like that, get their name on it, and then try to get it sent off. There are proper channels, and if you don't use those channels, you're going to be disappointed. You've got to send it off. You have to trust. These companies have been in business for a long time. They handle the most expensive coins known to exist in the world. They're not taking your coins. They're not switching your coins.
And you know what? That's the reason. That's the exact reason I will not do it. And don't get me wrong. I know I'm trustworthy. Almost everybody in the chat right now knows me, knows I'm trustworthy. But I just refuse to accept coins from people unless I'm buying them. And then that's why I video record everything, because there's so many. I've noticed that, Daniel. I just don't trust them. If you don't trust them, then you know what? You probably, I mean, you're going to have to keep them raw. That's all.
Yeah, you're in the wrong business, actually, in my opinion. You shouldn't be done if you can't trust them to send off things, because you know what happens? If you have the paranoia that you're afraid to send a coin off because they're going to switch it or steal it, then all you're going to do is go from group to group, expert to expert, or people like me and you're going to get upset at me because I'm going to push you to send it off. But you're not going to get satisfaction any other way. And I hate that's unfortunate. But I run into that a lot, and people get really upset at me. And, I'm only human. Guys, I fail a lot, and I am not perfect. And sometimes I do make a mistake. Maybe I get a little short with someone, but you got to understand, I probably help 200 or 300 people a week, and I'm always answering messages. I'm tirelessly nonstop, 16 hours a day on this computer, at least have my phone in my hand, and I'm available for people, and I do the best that I can. But just because if you got to send it off to do it the right way, because I can only go do so much. I can only look at it and say, hey, yeah, it might be this or might be that. And after a while, you get kind of tired of doing that constantly when you just want them to send it to someone who can actually put their name on it. Well, something about pre-war.
Yeah, what I would recommend to concrete, etc. Here's the method that I would go to dealing with what you got. Now, you're saying it's a 43P. I assume it's got the large P over the dome, so that's good. Now, you're saying it's not silver. Okay, the first thing I would do is I would get me a good scale and I would weigh it. The second thing I would do is I would look at that weight and see what that does. Will that match pre-war planchets? If not, then you've got to take, and there's a book out there that will give you the weights of every foreign planchet for a time frame that the United States Mint has minted those planchets, or they would have those planchets at the plant, and it could be an off metal from a foreign planchet. Now, to give you a value idea, if it's an American coin, the value, an American off metal will be higher than if it's a foreign metal planchet. A lot of times that's not a absolute, that's just an average. Usually a foreign planchet will get you less, but it will still be substantially higher than the normal coin. However, let's say you find out that you think it's a Zimbabwe quarter that nickel was struck on. As Daniel said, you've got to send it then to the United States Mint. They can do all the tests that are required. And here again, they don't want your coin. It is legal to own. They'll send it back to you with a letter.
Yeah, like I said, when you get the same weights and you still think that your coin is pre-war, just send it off. Let NGC test it. Let the Mint test it. That's the best thing to do, because I can look at your nickel that you think's pre-war all day long and stare at it until I'm cross-eyed. I can't do anything about that. I literally have to send it to the Mint, send it to NGC or PCGS and tell them, you're going to send a coin in, you want it tested, do you do that? That's the only way to doing it. That solves the whole problem, because they can actually do an analysis of that coin, and they'll send you a letter. Also, I see up here, Woody Woodpecker said that. So basically, you have to go to school and learn to do it yourself. You are in school right now. This is your class. We're telling you exactly what you have to do.
Where's my roller?
This is what we have to do. We have to do this ourselves. We're not telling you something that we don't do. We have to do the same thing that we're telling you to do. And I know that some people want us to be more helpful, maybe do it for you. We can't. You have the coin. You know what you have or think you have, and there's all these resources and tools out there. All it is, pick up the phone, call someone at NGC, PCGS, send an email to someone at Konica. I mean, it's so easy. You don't have to do it all on your own, but you do have to learn these resources so that you can use them properly. I mean, we're giving you tools, basically. If you want to work on a car, you have to have tools, and someone gives you the tools to work on a car. Yes, you're going to have to learn how to do that. I mean, but you got your tools to try to work on it, change your oil or something simple. We're not talking about, rebuilding the engine here.
And that's what the videos are for. These are tools to help you to take the next step, basically. As he said, in fact, I've repaired cars and I went to YouTube and looked at videos on how to take them apart and put them together, as far as something simple, guys. So
yeah, Rob M., we know that he's talking about a pre-war. We understand, but the best thing to do is to have that thing tested and to send it to the Mint or to send it to NGC. I know NGC, I think they do that. You call PCGS and find out. Yeah, we know that, but there's no way of saying how to tell. You can't just tell with a ping. You can't just tell with, it has to be actually tested to find out what planchet that's actually struck on, what composition of the alloy. That's the only way.
Right. That's your beginning. Yeah. Not a lot of people know how to do the density test either.
Yeah. So, and those are all good questions. And, like I said, we'd love to answer the questions because we want everybody to have fun in this hobby. And I think sometimes you can take the fun out of it for yourself because you're beating your head against the wall trying to get someone to tell you the exact answer when no one can do that. Sometimes it takes science. Sometimes it takes a computer or a machine that we've invented that can test something for you. And that's the best way of doing it. I mean, anybody that's ever found something great, believe me, it was sent to somebody to verify it, that had a name that could actually verify it. And before it went to auction, it was sent off and it was graded and certified and authenticated as what it is. The same problem with the 59 mule cent that has the wheat reverse. It's actually probably a counterfeit. Most people consider that a counterfeit, even though the Mint said that it was mint, or it was actually die struck, right? I mean, it's.
My understanding, there's two of them now.
Yeah, there might be, and that's what I'm saying, but they won't authenticate it as an authentic 59 mule, but yet it's still worthwhile. We went for 40-some thousand or something the last time it sold, or one of them sold. Someone bought it privately, or it was something like that. But that's a perfect example. It may well be a real one, but it may well be a fake. And really, the only way of finding things out like that is to send it to someone who can actually do that for you. So, do you have anything to add to that?
You know what, we're talking about grading and whether you should get it graded or not. Some coins, yes, people have a set, or I have a set number like Daniel, but I think you have to go back to the basics. What's the purpose of getting it slabbed? Do you want to preserve it, which is a noble ideal, or are you wanting it for investment? And that's okay if that's the method that you're collecting. That's okay as well. But you have to make a decision. The one thing I try to stress to anybody who's out there who wants to have this as a hobby, note I'm saying as a hobby. Some people do this for an investment. So as a hobby, you should just be having fun, and you're not going to be able to take it. I mean, I've got a 1896 $50 here. I can sit here and play with it if I want. I can hold it. I can look at it. Yes, I got my fingers on it. It's really well worn. But it's something that, you know, I'm not going to hurt this coin. The minute amount that I am is not a matter of it don't bother me. Because it was just a coin that, like Daniel said, we always get low graded coins and it's hard to do damage to them. But what I look for is how much fun are you having? If you're investing, that's a different thing. You're probably buying, well, you're probably buying high grade slab coins.
Yeah.
And there's a place for all that. There really is.
So to recap for those who didn't hear what we said, if you want to know if you need to send your coin off for grading or not, you want to determine basically what kind of variety you have, or actually the grade of that coin. You can use photo grade, you can use heritage sold auctions, or you can take it to a coin dealer. I can look at pictures, but I can't grade it by pictures. I just can't do that. You can only guess, and that's not going to be beneficial to you when you're going to put some money in a coin. So that's the first things you want to do. And once you do that, you want to go to PCGS, you want to go to NGC, go to their price guide, and or heritage sold auctions, and you want to see what that coin sold for and those grades you think it is. And if that's high enough for you, and you think that a $100 coin's worth sending to PCGS or a $300 coin, then by all means try it. And I think for me, if I was you, the best 10 coins you have, send them to Annex. Put your feet in the water because they have a very good deal on that. It won't cost you a lot. You won't be out a lot of money. And just see how well you have graded your coins. And I think that would benefit you more than anything. And that would give you an idea to get your feet in the water, get you started doing this. You know, that's what a lot of people did. I use PCI and Annex. I sent off to all kinds of grading companies, CEGs, you name it. I've done it all as far as sending off to these companies. And, you know, I had to learn myself, because you can grade and I can grade coins and think it's a certain grade, but PCGS and NGC, until you learn how they're grading, you're going to be wrong. Not all the time, but you're going to be wrong enough to where you're going to get you're going to get hurt a little bit. You're going to think, wow, I got a body bag when I thought it was this, and I got a couple grades lower and I thought it was this. You know, and another thing I know someone was asking me about, as far as ancient coins are concerned, I'm going to cover this really fast because I'm not going to get into the ancients. But when you come over here to NGC, they have NGC ancients, and they have what you can send to them. And, you know, they'll basically, you can go out, like I said, values, you're just going to have to go by auction results of coins that kind of look like your coin. You're obviously dealing with raw coins here, but here's the tiers for ancient coins. I recommend NGC for ancient coins myself. I'm not saying that PCGS isn't any good, but I recommend NGC. And also the conservation. I hear a lot of questions on conservation. Here's what happens with conservation. And very important that you see this, because you're looking at 4% of the fair market value if they do conserve your coin. So you want to know all of these factors that come into play whenever you want a coin to be conserved. Now, obviously, you don't want to put all this money in a coin that is really common just so that you can see it clean by a professional, because then you're putting a lot of money in it. And that also brings me to this. If you've got extra income and you just want to do it to your coins and just see what happens, that's up to you too. I'm not saying you don't do that. But most people are trying to find an economical way of getting their coins graded, certified, and actually authenticated. And if anything, you're definitely going to get them authenticated, even if they don't grade what you think. Also, over here on Annex, go to these websites if you have questions about their actual tiers and their services. Annex doesn't have an online submission, so you have to print it off. Maybe they do now. It says submit coins now. Let me see if they do. No. So you still have to print the form off, but this is what you do. You print the form off and you fill it out, and it's really easy. And for all three of these services, you can go to most coin shows, the big coin shows, and you can actually walk to the table. You might have to wait in line, but you can actually submit coins that way. I know Annex sets up at Kona in Ohio, and also Sharonville show they'll set up at the Cincinnati, which Robert knows about. They'll be there, and you can actually submit your coins. They'll help you do it. So there's all these ways of getting your coins, graded and checked out. Yep, there it is. Sharonville. Don't miss the Sharonville show, guys. You got to go. It's a really good show. A lot of dealers.
And Daniel will be there.
Yes.
I'll have that up on CoinOpp. Daniel, look at what David Smock is saying there.
I'm looking.
Okay, what I was going to say when Daniel was talking about grading, I agree. It's good to get your feet wet. I do want to specify one thing. there's only 5 grading companies I would even consider sending my coins to at this point. Now, if there's a grading company out there that you are brand new and you want me to take and to review some of your coins, send me some samples. That's the only way I would recommend you, is once I see grading samples from you. However, the 5 that I would only even consider buying or submitting to is NGC, ANAX, PCGS, ICG, or SEGS. Those are the only ones, bar none. I would not. There's other ones I've seen that they say this is an MS70 coin, and I look at it and it's got a big old gouge right through the head, and it's like, no, you just lost my respect right there.
Yeah, I know a lot of people they have some questions and things. Someone, see, Mark said that he printed off the Annex form and it was actually said it was expired. Just you probably call Annex. That's the best way to get that one answered. Another thing, I think we were talking about fingerprints. It says, I've heard of it happening because the coin may have been touched and it may have been taken years for that fingerprint to eat into the coin. Also, the holders are not completely airtight. Okay, yes, absolutely. A coin can be sealed and graded by PCGS and form toning later on. And sometimes there's a lot of things that come into play. Like it could have been touched. It could have been sneezed on. And believe me, you don't want to breathe. Your breath can actually put minerals on a coin and cause it to tone. Cigarettes, like nicotine, and if you use tobacco and you handle a coin, you might not see it right off the bat, but once that coin's graded and it sets in that holder, it can tone. Another thing, they might be considered airtight, but the air is trapped inside with that coin. Those air molecules are very small. So you still have a layer of air on both sides of that coin while it's in that holder that were trapped in there, and it can react. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't happen a lot with newer holders, but PCI, some people seen PCI toning. Those holders actually did be conducive for coins to tone. But one of the things to do is the best thing to do is just to keep the coin out of humidity. You can use silicone packets, try to keep it in one temperature all year round. That's really the best thing to do if you want to minimize toning. You can't eliminate it completely, though.
I can tell Concrete, etc. said, will a 202 staple cardboard flip protect my red penny over time and the elements? Couple things there. If it is kept intact and it is not, the surface has not been broken. Now this is not a red example, but it's a 2x2. This is what he's referring to. Provided that this film element has not been broken on either side. I have coins that I collected when I was 14, which is a long time ago.
How long, Robert?
But they are still red. When I put them in, they were brand new when I put them in the 2x. I was using gloves at the time because they were brand new. Now, do I use gloves all the time? No. I know how to handle coins. However, they were red when I put them in. The temperature, low humidity where we lived, and I've kept them in that environment where they're low humidity. So I would answer that, yes, you can, at least from my experience. And third-party grading company is only, it's relatively new to the hobby, and there are great collections from the beginning of the United States of America. Those coins, some of the silver's toned, yes, some of the copper's turned brown, but they're in absolutely positively wonderful condition because they were stored and properly protected throughout time.
Yeah. Gregory asked the question about why is Annex and PCGS, if the coin's the same grade, why the price is the same at the end? Because PCGS commands more market value, and that's because collectors choose that, experts choose that, and because people keep saying it. Honestly, I think Annex is just as good as PCGS in some ways, but every one of them has their weaknesses and their strengths. I use them all, but I don't know if that'll ever change. The perceptions here, maybe if Annex would start getting, if CAC would start recognizing Annex grades and things like that, maybe it would help. Maybe Annex needs to do an overhaul of how they CEO their business. I don't know, but to me, they're just as good as the rest of them, in my opinion. But I know a lot of people disagree with me on that.
And you know what? I've seen every, bar none, every grading company make mistakes. I don't care who they are. PCGS, NGC, ANX, SEGs, you name it. That's why a lot of times I tell people you buy the coin, not the slab. I mean, when I pick a coin up to buy it that's in a slab, I look at the coin. Is that coin? I mean, if I'm doing it for my personal collection. So you've got to learn a little bit about grading if you want to do this as a hobby and have fun. The more knowledge you have in this hobby, we say it all over and over. It's one of our catchphrases. Knowledge is king in this hobby.
Yes. And, you know, guys, I just want to say this. Me and Robert both are coin dealers. I have a brick and mortar, and Robert runs the coin shows and runs the coin shops, and he knows the business too. We actually do this. Well, you're talking to two men who may not be as experienced as Dave Hall or Ron Guth or Wiles, all these guys, but we literally do this for a living on a daily basis. We're telling you the best information to our knowledge. And if we don't have it, we tell you to call those companies. And that's the best thing to do. I mean, it's great. And like I said, we got some more questions over here. Someone wanted to know the date of the Sharonville show.
That's going to be July 17th and the 18th. That'll be to the public. If you want an early bird badge, you can get in on Thursday, the 16th at 3 p.m. And I believe it's... okay, the pricing, $40 for an early bird badge. And I believe, I don't know if that's each day or if that's good for all 3 days. I'll have to find that out. But that's the information.
We have so many questions here. I'm trying to answer them. Metal detecting fines are almost always problem coins. I don't think it's going to hurt to clean them. Just wipe them off a little bit and then take it to somebody and say, should I clean it further, have it conserved? Like I said, if it's a key date 1877 Indian head cent, you might want to have it conserved. But if it's really pitted, you probably don't. You got to be able to tell it's authentic. Also, someone has, should I have my 94 Walker, 85 Morgan, 1922 BU graded? Like I said, you got to go over to PCGS, try to figure out what grade you think it is and what the values are in those grades. That's the only way you can answer that question, is to actually do a little bit of research on what that coin's possibly graded at and then what the value is for each of those grades. Let's see. There was another one here.
Concrete. He just giving us some
here. They just want to hear my head rattle. Here we go. What is your feeling on having new coins graded? For instance, the new W nickel. Have them graded the year they come out and sell them like hotcakes and then be done with it. Don't
spend your money.
Fine, but I mean, don't think that for a minute some people didn't make a little lottery win on getting rolls of those daggone W quarters and selling them. They made some money on that stuff. Now, people overpaid for it, and you know how I am about that. But you know what? You can't stop all of it. All I can do is do videos to warn you not to do it. But if you do it, that's on you. You know, I can only try.
And see, now me and Daniel vary a little bit on that, because even though I know people overpaid for it, and I agree with him, I do believe they are going to come back because they are, in today's numbers, it's scarce.
Debbie Hemphill must have come in late. I've got, go to PCGS, NGC, and Annex. They actually have services and tiers. You can actually call them. I brought them up on the screen for you. I'll show you really fast since you might not have been in the chat earlier. But you come over to PCGS. It's called pcgs.com/services and fees. You go to put that up in your browser, and you will be able to see the fees of PCGS. And then, of course, you can go over to NGC, and you can do the same thing. Here's the URL up here. Maybe you can pause the video, type that in, and you can find out how much it costs to send coins off for grading. And also, like I said, you want to make sure you know what that coin is possibly going to be worth and what it grades first, and then what it could be worth in that grade. And see, another thing, what do you insure your coins for when shipping? You have to know the potential value, and you have potential grade and the potential value before you can insure a coin. And the best thing to do is probably call PCGS customer service. A lot of these questions I see here, they can definitely be answered by their customer service because they deal with this on a daily basis. That's what they do for a living.
D. Cruz says, what do you insure your coins for when shipping in general? That's probably the sad part about that question, is that's so open. It's hard to answer that without knowing what you have. And as Daniel was saying, go to PCGS's website or NGC, look up your coin, try and get an idea what the grade. Both of those sites also have grading. They show you graded coins, and so does Daniel on his site on CoinOpp U. That'll give you an idea of your grade. So that'll way you can go back then to the price guides, get an idea. Don't overinflate your prices. If you do that, you're just going to be putting money, good money after bad money, I call it.
Well, twice. I said, now this like saying there's no really to be stressed out about it, because I set 2 coins at NGC and they ended up being worth more than what I thought. And so they charged me extra.
Right.
PCGs will just tell you got a problem, so then you got to call them up and figure out what's going on. But NGC will just charge you extra. I had it happen to me. I got a finest known one time and didn't realize it. And no, you're right. Let's see, JRW3, thanks for joining the chat. There is nothing wrong with collecting raw coins, but unfortunately the video is about grading coins, the questions. And also someone asked me about sending coins in from the mint without seeing them in the box. I've done it. I don't have a problem with it. They're either going to be 69 or 70, and most of them aren't going to get less than that. So the modern coins especially.
Right.
So really fast, I'm going to show everybody. I'm going to put a link down here to my photo grading. My photo grading is not perfect. I need to update it. I'm not satisfied with it anymore because I put it out a long time ago. But if you want to go to my photo grading and kind of get an idea of what your coin might grade, then there's the link there in the chat. You can click on that. You can go to it. You can take a look at it. You'll see my mug there with my submit Morgans for grading. I also have done several videos on should you submit your Morgan, Lincoln cents, Jefferson nickels. Also, I tell you about red, brown, full steps. I've got these videos I did just for these questions specifically. You can go to my channel. You can do a search, and you can find all these videos. Just type it in there. And also, if I see a new video idea in my chat topics or people chatting or in my comments, I usually do those videos because I try to do videos that are a membership, or at least viewer motivated. That's what I like to do. See, cool or not to break up a mint set if you know you have a great coin. I always break open a mint set if I got a really good coin.
Yep, I would too.
I broke up many of proof sets and mint sets. As a matter of fact, sometimes that's the only way you can get one of the good ones, especially grade wise.
I know we did a video in CoinOpp about beginning collectors. You'll have to look through the archives because it's an old one and it's about 2 hours long. But Dustin went in really good detail on that. In fact, we could probably do 100 subs off of that, Daniel. Hint, hint. As far as new videos. However, I would like to say that I appreciate this. We're coming to the end of our hour, and I know I have an obligation after this, Daniel.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. We're about,
Hello to everybody. Sorry I've seen a lot of people. Hello, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'm sorry I never got to respond to you, but I wanted to be able to stay on topic today because this was very important. I feel me and Daniel both easily get just go off on a tangent because we see a question and we try to help everybody. So
right. And I do want to answer one more. DDR, DDO. That's a double die reverse, double die obverse. And yes, there are coins with that and is a variety. It's not considered a mint error. It's called a variety. And you can have dual varieties like that. I actually have some in my back here in the cabinet. Lincoln cents.
I don't know. I just picked up 5,000 BU pennies from 1934 to 60. So
what'd you do with that bag?
It's still setting.
Oh,
I haven't decided yet.
You gonna bring it to Green Hill so we can go through it live? We'd spend more time than at the.
I had a lot of people ask me to do a live video on that.
I would do that. Oh man. I do. Like Robert said, I appreciate every single one of you guys. You make this possible for me. I'm really enjoying this. I am blessed, and I do thank God for what I have. This is really amazing to me, the response that we're getting. Robert, is a really good friend. Can't wait to see him at the Sharonville. Yeah, the Green Hills first. We got a couple Green Hills for that comes along, but yeah,
exactly.
Definitely, guys. So, like I said, until next live, So we're going to be out.
Yes. If you don't mind, I would like to. I take and do an auction, everybody. If you're not new or if you don't know about CoinOpp, we take and do an auction every Wednesday and Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a live auction. You have to pre-register. The directions will be in, well, the information will be in the description down below the video. However, every other Friday we do one at 8 p.m. I've been lacking on that a little bit, but I'm probably going to gear it up because we just got a big collection of a lot of new stuff. So, and yeah, and I was going to say, Daniel, well, me and him, we deal with each other too.
Yeah. Well, I thank everybody and for tuning in to us here, and we'll see you all later on and see you in the groups and see you in other videos.
Take care, everybody, and happy hunting.
And have a great day.